Fowkes, let's start with some different news before we get into the teams. You've selected your captain or captains for this season. Just talk us through that briefly.
Yeah, look, we've asked Luke Cole and Jake Farmer to be co-captains this year. They both really epitomise what the club's about in terms of their hard work and the way they go about their business. They're both fine players, and we'll both do a great job hand in hand. You know, we've had long discussions about how to work the co-captaincy as well, and you know, we're looking forward to seeing them work together.
Farmworth as well. It must be quite a big achievement for him, obviously coming through the Trent Uni programme as well. So it's a good advert for that too.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you come through that program. You know, we did a good job bringing Jake Farmer to the club, and you know, the university was part of that. But you know, he's a good lad. Both him and Coley have been through academy systems at other Premiership clubs, and you know, this was the next step in their career in terms of getting that going. And look, yeah, the club have done a fantastic job to bring both Coley and Farnworth to the club, you know, and you know, NTU has been a part of Jake being able to get his law degree.
On to the team to face Ampthill. 6 changes to the side that were beaten by Ealing on the first day. Just briefly talk us through those changes in the team.
Yeah, look, we've got a few guys that weren't quite ready to play the first game against Ealing, having had what was a very, very short rugby pre-season because of the protocols and the testing regimes that we've had to go through. So some of those guys that are coming back are now fit to play and ready to go, so they get an opportunity. Some of the guys, you know, like Josh, who was on the bench, who was limited minutes against Ealing, he's now in a place where we feel he can start. So he's coming to that side, and it's great to see him in there as a homegrown Nottingham lad. And you know, it's good to see him back in that mix in the back row. Alan Secco was benched the last time out. Unfortunately, Toby Williams picked up that ban, so Secco comes in to start, and it's nice to see Ben Betts come back in onto the bench, covering Lucid. Farney obviously misses out just through a little niggle he picked up in that Ealing game. So Luke comes straight to start in there for his first appearance of the season. Really looking forward to seeing Luke Mason and Will Simons go as well, dual registered from Wasps. You know, everyone will know Will fairly well from last year as well, when his partnership with Will Millett was one of the highlights of last season. So it's good to see him back in. And look, we're excited to see what Luke Mason's all about and what he can do. He's quite an exciting prospect. He's just new to Wasps as well. So it'll be good to see him out there at Championship Rugby. And look, we've got, you know, Charlie Thacker, who's come back after a couple of pretty serious injuries in the past few years, and then having the layoff with the pandemic. It's great to keep building his rugby back through the bench, and you know, he'll play a big part in the game as well. And then Ed Coulson at fullback. Ed's played a lot of Championship Rugby, played at Bedford and Hartbury before that. He's come over to us on a short-term deal just for the rest of this season. And we're looking forward to seeing him play fullback and slot into that sort of second, third receiver role.
I was going to mention that the 3 new faces that you've just touched on. Obviously, Ed Coulson comes in at fullback, Will comes in the centre, and Luke Mason on the wing. Fans will obviously be familiar with Will. They saw him quite a lot last season, but for the fans that haven't seen Ed and Luke play, what can they expect from those?
Look, Ed's a very good performer at this level. As I said, he's played a lot of rugby for Bedford, a lot of rugby for Hartbury before that in this division. Very assured performer, you know, and a great asset for us to have a fullback for this short part of the season. Luke's a very exciting winger, fullback. Had been at Exeter Uni, but he's come up and joined Wasps in the summer. We've been really impressed when he's been with us for the limited time he has so far, and he gets an opportunity this week to show what he can do.
It's a freshen up on the wings as well. Is that an area that you thought maybe could have done better against Ealing? Okay, you know, hands up, it was a great team. Or is it an area you feel you can hurt Ampthill, or is it purely just a freshen up?
Look, I think for us, we're still learning a lot about the players we've got. As you said, we had a very stunted pre-season in terms of the rugby. You know, the lads have done a lot of gym and a lot of running, but with the COVID protocols as they are, they've not done that much rugby. So we're still learning a lot about this group, and we'll learn a lot more against Ampthill on the weekend.
Ampthill on the weekend, as you mentioned. What are you expecting from them? Because because they've played two, they've lost two. Yeah, they've played Ealing, so they've got Ealing out of the way. But in their first game, they gave Doncaster a real fight and took it right to the end.
Look, for me, Ampthill have come a long way since the team that got promoted last year. They're a physical side. They'll play on top of you. They'll keep the ball when they need to, and like any good team, they'll know when to transfer the pressure with kicking the ball in their own half. They really have got a forward pack that do like to carry the ball and get on top of you. So we need to front up there and make sure we make our tackles on the game line, if not before, and we're really aggressive there and make sure they can't get on the front foot. And that's what they're about, and it's great to see how Ampthill have developed into the championship from afar. If you're a neutral, you see that they've come a long way, and as the semi-professional teams go in the championship, they're going to be right up there and wanting to be one of the best. And they ran Doncaster, a fully professional side with a big squad and a well paid for squad. They ran them really very close in that first game. So we're expecting a handful. We're expecting to learn a lot about our guys on the weekend, and we'll see where we're at come 3 o'clock.
Obviously, Ampthill were Nottingham's first opponents in the last season. Is there anything you can take from that game from an Ampthill point of view, or is it a complete clean slate?
Absolutely nothing. We've had 31 changes in players. We've had changes in staff. They've had changes in players, changes in key personnel, changes in their staff. Look, the pandemic, for one, sadly has taken its toll on both clubs, but also with the what can only be described as draconian cuts from the RFU before then have also taken their toll on both clubs. So, look, they're very different. We're very different sides. We're very different teams, and it'll be about who's got their game together the most on the weekend in what's been a short pre-season for both sides.
And obviously, it was Nottingham's bye week last week, so you managed to get a couple of extra days training in there. I imagine that's helped the team, with so many new players, that helped the team come together. Yeah,
massively. It was always our plan to use these last 2 weeks to help do that and elongate our pre-season out to sort of, instead of 4 weeks, out to 6 in terms of the rugby side of it. So that's helped massively. There is a lot more cohesion in the side that we've seen in training. The test now is to get that out on the park and show that cohesion against Ampthill.